So good morning, everyone. My name is Alicia Harshfield, and I'm the Executive Director of the California Restaurant Association Foundation, otherwise known as CRAF. We are the philanthropic arm of the California Restaurant Association, and soon to celebrate 35 years of feeding dreams and building futures. We are best known for our ProStart culinary, restaurant, and hospitality career exploration and training programs for high school students, and our scholarship program. If this is your first time working with us, welcome. If you are dear friends, welcome back. Thank you so much for volunteering for Fit Day. We are delighted to have your expertise and participation. Volunteer facilitators are the heart of the program, and you'll be able to offer your personal experiences, career growth stories, company hiring practices, company values, and you are the color commentary to bring the program to life. We're so excited to have you participate. I noticed that additional people are joining the call. If you're new to the call, if you don't mind muting your phone so we can reduce any background noise, that will help everyone hear the rest of the webinar. Special thanks to our sponsors, BJ's Restaurants and Brew House, Cisco, Wiener Schnitzel, Johnny Rockets, Lazy Dog Restaurant and Bar, Rubio's Coastal Grill, Sardine Factory, Specialty Restaurants Corporation, Wendy's, Chart, and the chapters of the California Restaurant Association in Los Angeles, Fresno, and Orange County. I'd also like to thank DiscoverLink. Sponsorships have made this program possible, and we're able to bring the FIT program to 44 schools this year at no charge. So support for our foundation allows us to bring life-changing programming for students and teachers throughout the year. So a special note about DiscoverLink. DiscoverLink offers e-learning solutions that allow companies to accomplish their training goals, leading to a consistently positive brand experience for their customers. Julie Schroeder is a curriculum designer and does content development for DiscoverLink, and fortunately she helped our foundation update the FIT curriculum. She has expertly removed any redundancies, created consistencies, and helped to tighten up the training. She is on the line today and will be walking you through one of the training modules. So this webinar should take around 45 to 60 minutes. And we will review the instructions for Fit Day and review the curriculum. If you have any questions along the way, please type them in and we will try to provide all of the answers. If you don't mind, if you've joined the call, please mute your phone so we can remove any background noise. Thank you so much. So I'd like to thank Natalie Tong and Wendy Armour and Erin Masco for helping with the volunteer recruitment and matching. Natalie is skillfully making the matches and will be your point of contact. She'll be here to, and you'll be hearing from her as she makes the matches and provides instructions in a couple of days. But we're all here to help make the experience a positive one for you, so please let us know if there's anything we can do to help make that happen. Again, if you've joined the line, if you don't mind muting your phone, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so Fit Day is on Tuesday, October 25th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. I hope you all have it marked on your calendars. The FIT training may take place in a high school culinary classroom, in an auditorium, or a library. It's any location which will accommodate the number of students planning on attending the training. So when you receive your matching email, we will notify you of the location at the school where you will be conducting the training. Volunteers will be assigned their school and module approximately 1 to 2 weeks prior to Fit Day. There are 3 training modules. Land It, which is focusing on how to land the job. Work It, focusing on how to be a good employee. And Lead It, the attributes of being a leader and career mapping. Volunteers may self-assign to a module. So when we introduce you to each other, when you're matched to a school, you may select which module you'd like to do and work it out amongst each other. And then during the training, we encourage everyone to chime in where appropriate to add additional stories and information that, again, help to bring the program to life. The goal is to have one volunteer teach one module. However, it may be necessary for one volunteer to teach more than one module. It will depend on the number of schools and the number of volunteers registered. We do have more openings and need additional volunteers, so please encourage your colleagues and friends to volunteer. Perhaps you can share this opportunity with your network. If you don't mind, those of you who've just joined the call, welcome. Thank you so much. I'm Alicia Harshfield with the CRA Foundation, and we're just going over some of the instructions for the day. If you don't mind, please mute your phone, and that will help to reduce any background noise for all the other callers. So the training is on a PowerPoint presentation. The school will also have the curriculum, and they are instructed to have the PowerPoint presentation, screen, projector, computer, all set up and ready to go for when you arrive. So they'll be meeting all of the training room requirements. You won't have to worry about any of that. A link to the curriculum was included in the email reminder for this webinar. I hope you've had a chance to review it. If not, there's still plenty of time before October 25th. Please bring a printed copy of the instructor facilitator guide and the PowerPoint with you on Fit Day. You may consider bringing sample applications from your business or hiring standards to share as examples for the students. You may also bring any branded marketing materials or giveaways. Again, all you'll need to bring in terms of participating in the actual program is a printout of the facilitator guide. There may be as few as 20 students and as many as 100 students per school. So keep that in mind, and again, when we send out the matching email, we will notify you of the number of students anticipated for the training at your school. This training is reserved for ProStart students. And ProStart is a 2-year culinary arts, restaurant, and hospitality career exploration program supported by our foundation. So all the students in the FIT program training for the day are exposed to the fundamentals of a career in the food service and hospitality industry during the regular school day and course. What we're bringing to them through FIT are the soft skills that will help make them successful when they get that first job, that most important first job, and set them on to a positive path for careers in our industry or any industry they choose. Volunteers should anticipate approximately 3 to 4 hours for the FIT day. Each module takes about 45 to 60 minutes. The FIT day begins at 8 a.m. and should be completed by 11 a.m. Volunteers may plan on arriving at their assigned school around 7:30 in the morning. We are asking that the schools have student escorts meet all of the volunteers in the school office around 7:45 to escort you back to the training room. So again, if you could plan on arriving at your school around 7:30 in the morning and anticipate having a volunteer or instructions on how to make your way to the training room for the 8 a.m. start time. DiscoverLink has helped us create an online training and tests to reinforce the classroom training. The themes covered in the online training mirror what is taught during the workshop, and it is a complimentary course online which will be provided to each student through their teacher, and then the students will receive a certificate upon successful completion of the online course and exam. In the training, you will see references to the certificates the students may achieve. One of them, again, is the FIT certificate, and another is the CRA Workforce Ready certificate. The CRA Workforce Ready certificate is for students who pass their ProStart program, and it is based on competencies. It also includes the students achieving their California ServSafe Food Handler certification. So in the folder with the link to the curriculum, you will also find, as I mentioned, the PowerPoint and the facilitator guide. We've also provided a media marketing toolkit for you and some talking points and a press release template. Please feel free to promote your participation in FIT. We encourage you to take photos of your day. You may send them to us or post them on our Facebook page. Be sure to ask the teacher at the school if there are any rules for taking photos and posting them. That way you know you will be compliant with their practices. So again, if you have any colleagues that are interested in volunteering, we still are accepting volunteers. And the next slide here shows you where we have a high need for volunteers. So if you have any restaurants or colleagues, friends in the Barstow area, we definitely need volunteers there. Also in Montebello, Manteca, Jackson, Visalia, Fresno, and Reading. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about the students that you're going to meet on October 25th before we jump into a review of the curriculum. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in and we will make sure we get to those questions. So the students may be realistic and even a little cynical because they've experienced the ramifications of a tough economy. They've lived in a world post 9/11, and that will contribute to their sort of views on the world. They are used to multitasking with multiple screens, so don't be surprised if they get distracted or unable to look you in the eye. They are comfortable with online collaboration, so their face-to-face skills may be less developed, so be prepared for awkward pauses. Please be casual in conversation, open and accepting. Incorporate real-world context and relevance from the perspective of a high school student, and you'll probably have a little more of a reception from the students. Please take their questions seriously as they may be experiencing low self-esteem. And because the students are experts, they know how to find information, so really no need to over-explain things. Don't be alarmed if they sort of seem that they are disconnected or uninterested. We know from surveying the teachers following FIT that the students are learning a lot from this experience, and whether they display it or not, they're taking something away from the important information you're sharing and you sharing your own career experiences with them. Special note, if the teacher asks you to get involved with their program and if you are interested beyond FIT Day, please let us know and we will coordinate any of those follow-up visits. For example, maybe a field trip or other activities. It's one of the services which we provide, and it'll make your life a lot simpler if we can facilitate those opportunities. So please let us know again if you'd like to be more involved following FIT Day. Okay, so I believe we are at the point where we're going to jump into the curriculum. So I will be turning the presentation over to Julie Schroeder. If you just give me a moment to make that happen. So please welcome Julie Schroeder from DiscoverLink. She will be walking us through the Landit module. Julie?
Yes, thank you, Alicia, and thank you everyone for participating. DiscoverLink is very pleased to be able to work with CRAF again this year to enhance the materials for the FIT program. And so thank you for allowing me to present. And so what I wanted to start with was give you a comparison of the 3 sessions. One of the things that we did with the enhancements this year is we incorporated more interaction with students and I added more opportunities for you as facilitators to share. That was in some of the feedback that we received from the facilitators last year. So we wanted to incorporate that. And then we also continue to revise the content and the graphics to make them more age appropriate. Last year I was talking about, Generation X. This year I'm talking about Generation Z. I mean, just in 1 year, our focus on generations has changed. So just quickly, the comparison. The Landed module, if you were involved last year, is very similar, but what is fun about it this year is that we have the opportunity to incorporate a couple of videos. And I'll talk with you more about that in terms of how to test the videos to make sure that they play and what to do in case they don't, because technology is not always our friend. Work It, again, also is very similar, but we've added some additional competencies. So last year we had positive attitude, communication, and teamwork. We've expanded teamwork to include trust. We're talking about improvement, which has an optional activity, and then service and hospitality. And we're kind of, if the students haven't heard this already, they're getting an introduction to what the difference can be between service and hospitality. We're also talking about something new here, navigating negative work situations, and that's where we're going to rely a great deal on your experience in talking with students about how what negative situations might come up and how they can handle them. And the last module, Lead It, again, very similar in terms of competencies. We're going to talk about what's the reality of a hospitality career. What can a student expect if they go into hospitality, and then what's the realities in terms of what kind of positions they can get based on whatever education or experience that they may have. We've expanded the leadership competencies, so we're including speaking up. So having those conversations with management. We've also added character. And then we've given you as the facilitator of this module an optional opportunity to talk about how your organization supports FIT and also what your organization does to reach out to Gen Z. And I say this is optional because if they're it depends on the story that you have to tell. And so this, will vary in length based on that. Every module has an activity at the end that is action-oriented for the students to develop sort of an action plan based on what they learned. And of course, I forgot to mention that every module starts with a welcome by you and an opportunity to introduce yourself. So what I want to explore next is the student packet that the teachers are going to be are asked to hand out to the participants in advance, the students in advance. And there are two activities in the packet. One is a crossword puzzle on the types of restaurants and hotels, and there's a matching exercise of restaurant and hospitality terminology. So the student packet provides definitions of types of restaurants and restaurant terminology. On every page, there's a little did you know factoid that was added. So I thought that was a great addition from CRAF. We have the types of hotels, hospitality terminology, and then here's the crossword puzzle. So the students are instructed to refer back to the pages that talked about restaurant types and hotel types. And then the matching activity, again, the student is being asked to refer back to the restaurant and hospitality terminology sections earlier in the document. So this is meant to be pre-work, and so you'll find in your facilitator's guides occasional references back to the student packet. We've listed the sponsors here as well, and then provided some lists of what to bring to a job interview, what to do or prepare for at the job interview in terms of your dress and your appearance and your shaking hands and so forth. resume tips, and then included a sample of a resume and of a thank you letter. And then this section here, this last page, is a page where they'll be able to take notes. This page applies primarily to the Land It module, but it's an opportunity for them to take some notes, which we're asking them to do in all the modules. Just happen to have a note-taking sheet here regarding the interview process. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to show you the layout and features that are in all of the facilitators guides. But before I do that, I wanted to see if anyone had any questions so far.
Yeah, hi, this is Selwyn from Marmalade. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
Hi. I did it last year. I assume it's the same format as last year, right? Everything, except for these little minor adjustments you've made, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Same format.
Perfect. Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Okay, so the module that I'm going to use for our demonstration today is the Land It module, and primarily because it has the videos in there. And so I want to kind of go through that with you so you know what to expect when it comes time to play the videos. But all of the facilitator guides are going to have table of contents, and an important part of the facilitator guide up front is facilitator preparation. So and we encourage you to become familiar with the facilitator's guide and make notations anywhere that you see fit. We also think that you want to prepare your introduction. There are going to be some guidelines in the facilitator's guide, but you might want to prepare that in advance, as well as think about the stories that you're going to want to tell. And again, those are prompted in the facilitator's guide, but you may want to have those in advance so that you don't wing it as much. I find that when you wing it, you tend to go off on tangents, and we are very cognizant of time for each of these modules. As Alicia said, bring the facilitator's guide with you. Probably a good idea to bring a copy of the PowerPoint slides as reference. And then for the Land It module, we'd like you to bring copies of your company's job application. So if you still have a paper job application, we'd like you to bring copies. And you'll need to bring a lot because, like we said, we're not sure how many participants will be there. And we'd like you to be able to hand them out to the students. So this is for the Land It module. For all the modules, bring your business cards as well to be able to hand out. Sorry about this here, you do not need to bring a copy of the sample resume and thank you email. You can cross that off because we've provided that in the student packet. Something that is optional is bringing any logo items or giveaways. Now, we're not here to bribe the students to participate, but it has been known to encourage participation. So this is completely optional if there's anything that you'd like to bring to give away, either to encourage participation or to recognize someone for their participation. The teachers will have set up the room, they'll have the laptop and the slide presentation loaded, and they'll have the projection equipment. They'll have, hopefully, given the copies of the student pack to each student, and we are asking them to provide blank paper and pens. So again, just a reminder, if you don't have a question, if you could put your phone on mute. I'm going to pause quite frequently to see if you have questions. We have a little bit about the students that are participating. As Alicia said, they're part of ProStart, and she described what that program is, so there's a little bit here. Also, Alicia gave us some background on the Gen Z high school students, so that's provided here for your reference as well. And then facilitation techniques. One thing that we did with the facilitator guides is we tried to satisfy those facilitators who like a lot of scripting and satisfy those facilitators who don't like a lot of scripting. So if there are questions that we would like you to ask of the students, they are in bold red font. Again, when you do ask a question of the group, you're going to need to pause and give the students an opportunity to think about what to say. Maybe even they have to gather the courage to participate. Usually we're looking to accept maybe 3 to 4 answers so that we can manage time. If the students don't respond, you may choose to call on specific people. But definitely vary who you call upon, because there can be people who kind of hijack the session because they are overachievers, as I am, and we would like to vary who participates. So you may also need to call on people so that you will include other participants, other students. As I said, there are going to be opportunities to share stories or examples from your experience, and those opportunities are identified with italicized blue font. We talked about the giveaways as incentives for student participation. If you're running behind, you may need to ask fewer questions, and I pointed that out, that may be in the Landit module, that may be especially during the phone skills and interviewing segments. So it may turn out that instead of asking a question, you may need to do more of a tell because you're needing to manage time. Before the session, you want to introduce yourself to the teacher, want to make sure that slide presentation is set and that you know how to operate the equipment, and, to advance the slides and so forth. For Landit, you're going to want to test the videos that are on slide 12 and 21. They are set to launch automatically when you advance to slide 12 or to slide 21. So you're going to want to test that in advance to make sure that they play from their location. It could be that whatever room that you're in may not have Wi-Fi access, and you won't be able to play them, and that's fine. I will point out to you that we have provided alternative instructions in case the videos don't play. And then, again, this is before the session. Start welcoming the students informally, introduce yourself, shake their hands. I think that's a good practice for the students. They may not be used to shaking hands, and that's all part of what we're encouraging in this Landit module, is that professionalism of shaking hands. So before I get into the specifics of this facilitator guide, what questions do you have? Okay,
Julie, I have a question.
Yes.
Last year, the teachers were supposed to have the PowerPoint slides in the computer all set up, and guess what happened when I arrived? The person did not have a computer and did not have the slides. So will we be able to have access to the PowerPoint this year in advance so we can have it on our computer as a backup in case they're not prepared?
Yes, actually, Alicia mentioned that in the invitation to today's call, there was a link to the curriculum. If you go to that website, there is a link for you to be able to download the facilitator guides and all of the PowerPoints.
Okay, great. So we can just have that preloaded just as a backup.
Absolutely. That's a good idea to do.
All right, thank you.
And Julie, this is Alicia jumping in quickly. We are having a webinar this afternoon with all of the participating teachers, and we will most certainly be emphasizing the need for them to be prepared upon your arrival. So we apologize in advance if the teachers are not prepared, but I would say the majority of them should be and will be. So thanks for reminding us of the need to emphasize that, and you will, as Julie pointed out, have access to the PowerPoint. So thanks, Julie.
Thank you. All right, I'll pause just a little bit longer to see if there are any other questions. Okay, so let's take a look into the meat of the facilitator's guide. Every guide has this welcome, and but what you're going to say in your welcome may or may not be the same depending on the purpose of that particular module. But again, as I mentioned, blue italics is the opportunity for you to share about yourself. And for those of you who like more scripting, there is, this black text here that provides you with more detailed scripting. If you're not someone who needs scripting, then you're really going to be paying attention to the blue italics and to the red questions. Also, in the facilitator's guide, you'll see on the left column, there is always a snapshot of the slide so that you know what slide you should be on. And so that's to help you keep the PowerPoint in sync with your commentary. So here we have an example of the red questions. So this is how we are incorporating more student interactivity. So the red questions are there apply to facilitators who like a lot of scripting and to the facilitators who don't, because we really would like you to ask these questions. You can ask them in your own words, but these questions are going to match what's on the slide presentation. So that's kind of why we've bolded them in red to make them stand out. Now, for example, under preparation, here's a question about websites and social media apps. What we have provided for you is in black italics some ideas of what kind of responses you're listening for. So that if you don't hear these responses, you can chime in and say, well, what about workpop.com? Or what about Snagajob? So that you can kind of maybe help prompt responses by throwing a suggestion out there. If you do tweak any of this presentation and elaborate too long on something, just know that you might want to, in turn, figure out where you're going to cut back a little bit. So here's an opportunity to share. This is how your company uses websites and social media apps to post jobs, look for applicants, promote jobs, and so forth. So there's quite a bit there. That's why you might want to look at this in advance and kind of prepare your response so that you don't take too long, so that you get right to the key points of this sharing and not go off on tangents and then end up running out of time. We do prompt you on certain sections that if you do get concerned about time, you may need to ask fewer questions that appear in red. Okay, page in here on resumes and applications, there is reference right here to the student packet. So you're prompted, if you remember, to mention to the students that they can take notes in their student packet. And I like to prompt the students periodically just to take notes, period, because they're not going to be given the slides, and the slides aren't going to help them anyway, and they're not going to be given the facilitator guide. So what they take from this is their participation and their own notes. Again, so there's a couple of places where you're going to refer to the student packet. Apologize for this scrolling screen here for just a moment. But under references, again, there's an opportunity for the student to go to the student packet where they would write down who they think some references might be that they would want to arrange. So there's a couple of places where that occurs. Now I want to talk to you about videos. So the first video shows up here under the apply section. So we're talking about applying and interviewing kind of blended together here. And so we have a video that addresses that question that hiring managers like to ask. Tell me a little bit about yourself. So we introduce, what the opportunity this question provides for the student, what it is that they're going to want to think about including in their answer. But we have a video here, and these videos are very well done. They're age appropriate, and they have some very good examples. So once you advance from this slide here that says, tell me about yourself, to this video slide, the video will launch automatically. So of course you will have tested that prior, and you will know whether or not it's going to play. Let's say that in your test it played. You get to the session and you're facilitating live in front of the students, and now the video will not play. That is the name of the game with technology. So you're going to skip the video, which is on slide 12, and you're going to advance to slide 13. Okay? So if the video doesn't play, if the audio is very out of sync with the video, don't play it. Don't try to fix it, because you're going to waste a lot of time. Just accept it. Oh, darn, it's not going to play. Okay? So let me come back here. So if it plays, you'll play it, and then you'll advance to slide 15. If the video doesn't play, you're going to skip it and advance to slide 13. The reason for slide 13 and 14, for those of you when the video does not play, is you're going to have to make up for the content that they lost in the video. So we've got some information about what to include in that answer, and then we have an actual example of what that answer might sound like. Okay? So that's the content that's in the video. Now, no matter what, whether the video works or not, you're going to have practice. So we're going to ask the participants to practice answering that question with each other. And so there's a slide that has the instructions on it, and then there's some questions here for you to debrief that practice with the participants. Again, if you're running short on time, you may have to cut this debrief a little short. One more time, I'm going to skip ahead to the next video. And that applies to questions that a candidate might get asked in an interview. So we set it up here with some slides, and we also give you the opportunity to share what your go-to question is. What is the question that you like to ask at every interview? So you get an opportunity to share that. Once you launch or advance to the video slide, the video will play again automatically. If not, you can click on the play button that will be in the bottom left area of your screen. If the video plays for you, then once you're finished with the video, you're going to skip to the questions to impress slide. If the video doesn't play, then you're going to skip that slide and go on to slide 22. Why should we hire you? Slide 22 and 23 basically then gives you the content that would have been in the video. So here's a sample, a question that we're emphasizing is, why should we hire you? And then we have an example of a response. So this covers the content that would have been in the video. Whether the video plays or not, you're going to go to the questions to impress slide and continue to talk about questions that the students might want to ask the interviewer. And again, an opportunity for you to share the top 5 things you look for in a candidate and the biggest no-no. Again, you may need to reduce this to less than 5 if you're short on time. What I want to point out that's unique in the Land It module is because we're talking about company culture. So what we have provided is if there's more than one facilitator at this school, we're going to ask each facilitator to take about 1 minute to briefly describe the culture of their company. So again, you may want to prepare this in advance so that you have a nice, succinct answer and an appealing answer to this question. And that's going to be every facilitator that's involved. And then last of all, every facilitator, guys, has an action item activity. So it starts with something like, what do you want to do with the knowledge you gained? You know, so the student is thinking about, well, what do I want to improve, change, start doing, practice, what time frame? So we're trying to follow the SMART goal approach. So what's the time frame? You know, the week, month, next school break. If they have calendars, you're on their phone. I don't suppose they have paper calendars. You know, then encourage them to put it in their calendar. And then, of course, we're going to ask people to share. Again, you may have to limit this depending on the time. At the end of each module, you're going to thank the students for their participation. So what questions do you have about the facilitator guide before I jump to the slide presentation? Okay, well, that silence leads me to believe that there are no questions. So I'm going to show you just a few things. Okay, so if you don't have a question, if you could be sure to mute your phone, that'd be great. Thank you. So, in the slide presentation, there is animation, but it's timed. So very rarely will you have to advance the animation. If you need to advance the animation, that will be noted in the facilitator guide. So we're trying to limit the need for you to stand, you know, by the laptop the entire time, that you can periodically be, you know, walking away from it a little bit.
That's right.
So again, if you could please mute your phone, I'd appreciate it. If at some point the animation is ever too slow, meaning you're talking faster than the animation, then please just click and the animation will advance itself.
Like to have somebody control. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead to show you where you're going to find the video. So this is the slide that shows up before the first video. And we're just talking about how you might, what would be included in the answer, tell me about yourself. Now, when you advance, the video will start automatically. I prevented it from starting automatically because it's not going to play well over GoToMeeting. So I do not have it set to play. But as soon as you click here, it should play. If not, I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but if you scroll to the bottom, you'll be able to uncover a play button. What I found when I played this video, the audio was significantly behind the video, and it lost context. If that happens to you, abandon the video. It's a fabulous video. I hate to say that, but it's going to lose all meaning because they're going to see things on the screen that may make no sense because the audio is so far behind. So as fun as it would be to show this video, if you have any technical problems, just abandon it immediately and proceed to the next slide. So there are two videos that are like that, so the same instruction applies. And then here is, again, the action slide. So that's what I wanted to highlight for you in terms of the slides. So again, I'll pause and see what questions you have regarding anything that I've talked about so far. Okay, so I'm going to again take that silence as meaning you have no questions or you've been chatting them in as I've been presenting. So thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you luck and lots of fun here in a couple of weeks, and I will turn the call back over to Alicia.
Great. Thank you, Julie. As you can see, we've done our best to make the facilitator guide very simple to follow, offering opportunities for you to add personal experiences, talk about your company culture and important things about getting a job and how you got your start in the industry. As Julie pointed out, the facilitator guide corresponds with the PowerPoint, and if you're comfortable without following a script word for word, there's room for you to improvise, keeping mindful of the time. And if you're comfortable following a script word for word, then we encourage you to do that as well. So we will focus on a couple of things to remember now, and then ask for additional questions and wrap up the call. So things to remember. Watch for an email in the coming days with your school matching and introduction to your fellow volunteers, as well as the teacher at the school you're assigned to. On Tuesday, October 25th, which is Fit Day, please arrive by 7:45 in the school office to meet up with your fellow volunteers. The program runs from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Bring your volunteer instructor guide, a copy of the PowerPoint, sample job applications, any branded giveaways that you'd like to provide. The dress code is business casual, or if you have sort of, a logoed uniform for your company, of course, please feel free to wear that. Let us know if anyone else might want to volunteer, and we'll reach out to them. If media arrives at your school, one of us hopefully will be there as well to field questions. But you may have an opportunity to also talk about why you are giving back to youth and education and to the future of our industry. Most importantly, enjoy the day and let us know how it goes. We will be doing a survey following Fit Day so that we can get some feedback from you. We're always in the practice of trying to make this better, so we welcome your suggestions. Again, I'd like to thank DiscoverLink and Julie for helping us to improve upon the content of our training. I'd like to thank the CHART volunteers who helped us create the initial curriculum 3 years ago. So that means this is our third year bringing the FIT program to high schools. And thank you to Natalie for helping to pull together all of the volunteers and match you with the schools.
Alicia, I noticed
yes.
that there are some questions in the chat.
Oh, great. Okay.
So one of them is, when was the facilitator guide sent out? So I don't know, that question may have gotten answered, but it was a link in your invitation to today's webinar, and that
yes.
will send you to the website where you can find the facilitator guide.
That's correct.
Another question is...
Actually, that was on Friday. I believe it was Friday. We sent out a reminder email from Natalie Tong with the link to the guides, the PowerPoints, the media toolkit, and we will be resending the link as well. So if you did not receive it or maybe missed it on Friday, we'll be sending that out again following this call. And important to note that the curriculum and this training is proprietary to the California Restaurant Association Foundation, and we ask that it be used just for Fit Day. And if you said another time is of interest to you, please let us know, and we're happy to try to work something out. But again, it is proprietary to the Restaurant Association Foundation. Any other questions, Julie? I've sort of lost my little web link, my little guide.
Yeah, that's fine. The question is, do volunteers do one module or all three?
Okay, good question. Our goal is to have 3 volunteers at each school, which would mean 1 module per volunteer. However, we may be shy a volunteer or 2 at a school which you are assigned, so we may ask you to do more than 1 module. At times we have had an instance where a volunteer has an emergency the day of Fit Day and cannot attend, so the other volunteers pick up where that volunteer would have otherwise been contributing. So you may count on 1 module, but you may be asked to help with more than 1.
And the last question was, what's the dress attire?
Business casual, and if you have logoed clothing, you may also wear that. Whatever your uniform is for work is appropriate as well.
I'm actually getting some more questions now.
Great.
When will the facilitators find out what school they're going to?
Natalie's going to be sending out that email in the next couple of days. So watch for that. I think we're still getting some volunteers signed up and trying to finalize some of the matching. So look for that in the next couple of days.
Okay, and then I am going to take this to be the last question. What kind of jobs will the students be thinking of applying for? Management, back of house, chef, etc.
Great question. I think this Fit Day might be an introductory for many students as to what jobs are available to them. So they might not be necessarily thinking about a specific job, and this is an opportunity to expose them to all kinds of jobs: front of the house, back of house, cruise ships, amusement parks, any kind of food service related, hospitality related position, which is why we have such a wonderful group of volunteers from various types of backgrounds and employment opportunities. So they probably are most familiar with, some of the chef kind of positions and traditional jobs we think of when it comes to restaurants. So the more we can expose students to all of the types of opportunities available to them, even from a corporate office level to the store level and being a franchisee, is what the day is all about. So I don't know that they're necessarily coming to Fit Day with any preconceived notions of what kind of job they will be looking to apply for, and our goal is to expose them to all of the types of opportunities available to them. And that you have to start with the first job, and often an entry-level position is the gateway to and the ladder to additional career opportunities. Any other questions?
Well, it sounds like we could keep going because they keep coming in. Will the facilitators receive a count of student attendees so they can plan for how many giveaways to bring?
Yes, that'll be in your matching email, and it's based on what the teachers are telling us they anticipate in terms of the number of students attending the training. So answer is yes, we will provide you with that information.
That was the last question.
Fabulous. Well, you can always email us if something comes up after. We do also have provided for you a frequently asked questions document, also with the curriculum when you get, following that link. So hopefully the FAQ will answer some other questions that may arise. But we're here for you, and we're just beyond grateful to you for giving up your morning on October 25th to volunteer in the classroom and to work with our students. We are looking to bring Fit Day in the spring in a little modified format, so we may invite you to come back if we can pull this off. The vision is to invite FIT volunteers back to the school where they did the training and do mock interviews for the students. So that is something we may be bringing to you for the spring. But for now, we're focused on October 25th, and thank you for your time and attention this morning. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to your participation on October 25th and hearing all about it. Again, enjoy the day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.